now you look at the interest in a lot of the land securing. My sister's been doing a lot of going onto lands where our Koroua and all that are. We then go leave and then go on a couple of days later, next one into race. Got total shares down at Hallet down here. He had 100 shares and his son had 60. We went back on there and now he's got 60 and his son's got 30. All this with the rigmarole going on in the Holy Land Courts. People claiming that they're the so-called person of this person.
And the court's not spending 5 minutes to validate it.
Should be held held accountable, because how can they allow that to happen? If these people can't whakapapa to the direct descendants of those shares, then but this is the thing. I mean, I'm having an issue now with the lake levels, how they're fluctuating. I brought it up with Waikato Environment, because I had the meetings there, and they come out and meet me. And I took them along the lake shore and said, look, where are the erosion? He goes, it's just because of the lake level. And I said, it never used to be this high. It never used to be this high. You used to have at least 5 metre beach area. So you lay down and you lay your towels in that. You don't have it now. It's right up to the bloody scrub. He goes, no, that's how it is. I said, tell me that's how it is. I said, I've looked over this place for over 30 years. I said, what I'm seeing is that, obviously you guys are involved, Transit New Zealand, Opus, Internal Affairs, Lake River Forest Trust and Koroua Trust Board are all in cahoots to make this road fail. Because as soon as this fails, the government will have their thing to put this new road through. You look at what's happening all around. The lake's fluctuating, weakening the road. But to the ordinary person, we look natural.
Well, yes, and I'm having trouble people, even as far as the Wotu, involved with legal things. And everyone's blaming everything else except them being the cause and the factor. You can do anything about it. How cooperative have the Trust Board been with your own concerns for Wāhi Tapu? Your reaction when you were clearing those trees? I remember a branch at the Karaka, and all hell broke loose.
I told him about it. And I told him that there was a Master Kappa up there that was overhanging the Karaka, and if it went, then it would probably split the tree right in half. So I said to him that I'll probably look at trying to remove the limb that most. So me and the cousin, we went up there and we anchored it to the winch and everything, and winched it, and as we cut it, we went to start to fall, but then it swung back and caught the tip of one of the branches and broke it. But it wasn't as bad as what it could have been if it had gone through the centre. So I told them about it, and then they came up and said, oh yeah, that's it. I said, well, the tree's still alive. The tree's still alive. I mean, I'm sure our tupunas would have forgiven me for breaking a branch to try and save the whole tree. So they said, oh yeah. And I said, well, it's funny how you fellas are going on about the Wāhi Tapu up here. I said, this has been under your fellas' administration since 1966. Yet you haven't got a reservation around it. Yet because we've decided to put a reservation around it, you fellas all of a sudden want to jump on board and be part of it. That's the bullshit that they have. It's crap. It's called Tahitanga Trust that they set up. You look at it. They're trying to erase all the history along the side period. Trying to erase it. They were up here. They said, oh, we're going to change our name, change the name of the bay. Oh yeah, to what? Oh, Pāka. What's Pāka? Oh, it's the past. It's my life. Oh, so you want us to go back to when being cannibals? You want that dark history to come back? And then
Hallet goes right back to days even before Unconstabulary, the surveyors, survey families and the brothers. So that's you honour and know the whakapapa, respect the family and the history, and your roots were here so long that the whole bay's been named. Okay, don't if they want to add a Maori name, put that in, but don't erase the
No,
brand
we
on
told
the
them. We
side.
told them. They said no. You're not going to change the name. That's why. Yeah, we are. You say no, you're not.
They're starting to do that everywhere.
Oh yeah, no, they came out there and fixed their muscle with us.
Mm.
And I said, oh yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Because yeah, no, it is. I said, no. I said, you fellas were set up to make our people tuturu Māori, to get away from the colonials, right? Yeah, that's right. But you had to have the power to do that. So where did you go to get that power? Back to the colonials for us to become tuturu Māori. Yeah, what a joke. What a joke. Tumu and Northern.
Yes, laughing in sympathy with you, because the latest idea of colonial bashing, many missed the point in rewriting history to suit themselves.
Yeah.
Taught history in school, but whose history?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like he wants to line up with the kingi tangata. Hey, western side, but he wrote everything irrelevant on this side. So he wants to go there. I said, well, this is TeWhare strong. This is where TeWhare came over and fucking beat the shit out of 2 foot of
That's when I'm making gestures, when you saw Koroua, I came up with it. But I just thought, well, don't listen to what I have to say. Get an independent people that are here, and that's what you're reaffirming, aren't I?
Yes, yes.
Robert.
Yeah, so no, they came out here and they fixed their muscle and said, oh no, we're going to change the name. No, you're not. And they go, oh, why's that? And I said, well, here, read this. I said, because I saw your fellas pānui on Facebook or whatever, the lakefront from Tuki Point to up heading north, and then all the eastern side lands and da. I said, well, I'm challenging your pānui. I said, here, read this. And he goes, oh, what is it? Read it. The minutes from the minutes book, called Minute Book. You wouldn't read it, and I said, look, I'll read it for you. This concerns the lakefront. It was further admitted without dispute that 40 Te Mautaranui and a small family were entitled to the lake frontage from Te Toki Point to the Waitotara Stream. No one disputed it,
That's
not even the chief.
Runa's on the other side.
Yeah.
So that whole lakefront, so it's here to Nahe, yeah, see? That's the lakefront. Now you're talking about the eastern lands. I said, well, here's my koro partition order. All the lands from the lake edge, Waitotara Stream, up to the top of the cliffs, down to the Taimaro Stream. Now that's all the eastern lands. So what lands are you talking about? I was saying, what lakefront are you talking about? Oh, within a minute, he goes, oh, we got to go. Do his homework.
I always find, especially when government officials, by the time I ask hard questions, they suddenly have a meeting they urgently have to go to.
Well, even the secretary who they came up with it, you know, says, oh, we didn't do our homework. And it's like, oh, I'm getting sick and tired of hearing that shit. And you come up here throwing bullets, accusations and that, you better have that fucking backup.
That's why Jeffrey Whaitaima, I'm only doing postcard reminiscences, but the experience and the grievances and you have, we're going everywhere, and the same stories are becoming consistent with the record, and that's why I thought it important after I went up with them to see the Koroua, and I talked about TeWhare and the lands and the happenings and that, and how 100 years of history rewriting has now got the mindset, a false mindset that's displacing the people, their history and their whānau.
Well, I've always named this place as Te Pōnuiatia. Apparently it's not Te Pōnuiatia now.
Oh, I don't
Te
know.
Moana.
They want to change
When
that.
did that happen?
But well, it depends how ancient you want to go to, or who. I know Huakia was always called to this day Huakia Puriora. So people called it Puriora this side. The other side, people called it Huakia. In the land courts and that, they're talking about the one mountain, but two different names. And it's either the recognition of separatism that and that can cause is causing problems.
Yeah.
It has caused problems. But look, I go on Taupo now. I see with their cultural advisors suddenly the changing of street names, and then they're putting a Macron here, and Hātepe they're putting from Hātepe Avenue they've got Te Hātepe, and that's not the Hatapi. But these names are going, who have they consulted?
Yeah.
It's just people in the board, in the advisors to council,
Hey, I
changing
like
names for
Macrons,
the sake
There's
of it.
nothing wrong with putting macrons on our Māori words.
Yes,
Been
but
spelt for so many years, and that's why they're mispronounced, because we don't have macrons.
no, I was saying te Hatapi, when it's only Hatapi.
Well, it's like they've changed Hiu to Te Hiu, which is actually correct, you know. So there are names that have been shortened that, it's like if your name was not Te Whare but just Whare, you know, it would be different for you, Whaitaima.
Well, most of the names that are retained here, like Te Moanga Bay, that's all been abbreviated from Te Moanga o Tutu. But now for the maps, and you're lucky to get any Maori names, but often they're so shortened that they become meaningless, even if they throw a macron in the works here.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying with them change the name, they wanted to race to the European names and change it all to Māori names. So they tried here, but it failed. But funny thing is, they never went to Acacia Bay, and I still have the aliens to change. Why? Because there's too much money over there?
That's exactly where we found. Yep. And they changed the name of Otu Parai to Pararira, and that was just the cultivation of the side there. But because the developers, they didn't want the sacredness of Otu Parai, they changed it for the development to Parawira, and it's manipulated by only one or two people going to get the most money, and personally, for it. There's how's your sister these days?
Yeah, Joyce. Yes, no, she's still there. She's good. She's good. Yeah. Got our brother back from Australia. He died just before Christmas. We put him to rest about 2 weeks ago. So most of the family were up here for it and did the unveiling and burial all in one hit. So get it all out of the way. The way things are going today. So the family was able to keep the numbers down and get a good service and everything. So good farewell. So no, it was good. Caught up with the family after over a year, I think. Not seen them. Yeah, but no, Joyce is good, Perry. Yeah, she's good. I've got a question to ask you.
Only one.
Only one.
Okay, a long answer.
I'm just hoping you know where it is. Can you remember the sign that was down here?
Yes.
Where is it?
They wanted.
Tell me you know where it is.
I don't know what happened to the sign, but I mentioned to you at one time they removed Te Hiu Road.
Yes.
And they put another sign up, local Maori ancestral name, and within 1 month of Robert Morohu dying, the sign was taken down and Te Hiu Road came back up in its place.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to have that name changed. Put my Koroua's name there because there's no Te Hiu's in this book.
No, I know.
So why is this
and that was seen as an affront to the elders and everything, and we even had that put in a minute taken at the line round here.
Yeah.
And to this day, because I had one or two people with me, it was all minuted. I can't find those minutes, and that was the agreement of removing that sign and everything. So that's just like yesterday. But this has happened other places, and to put Te Hiu Road in the Te Hiu, and no one was ever here, no mana, no right, and to then agree they'd respect the local Koroua here,
Robert,
with his ancestors and the ancestors here to yourselves, and so you put that sign up. And what disrespect, 1 month after him dying, and that happened again with a site down at Maroa. The older there, he stopped them putting a translator up on the hill on the far side, and with 1 month after he died, they levelled the place and put it up. It's only tokenism, and the ones with deep pockets can just do the waiting game without the support of their families, and that's exactly what's happened down here.
Because I knew if that sign was still up, there's no way this road would go through because the public would know too much of the history of here, you see. But then it's funny how it disappeared, and then this year down the check off, all of a sudden change over to put a road through here. See, the people don't know about the history of what's happened here.
There's just too much sensitivity.
Oh, yeah.
He still can go straight down the road, bridge, straight across the old fire breaks and land.
I've had that discussion with Opus and Transit, and they're coming down. It's going to cost too much, period.
Oh, that was what they said
Yeah.
20
Yeah, 20
years ago.
Yeah, and it's still the same thing. And I told them, you fellas pull resources from one another all the time. Surely you can do it for a bridge. You know, oh, but it's going to cost you much. Well, how did you pay it off at the harbour bridge?
Look, originally they were happy to do it, and they were going to put a bridge across, all the money then, but then they were going to come down the Hillimaya,
Yeah.
and that would have scuttled a whole lot of sites
Yeah.
back this end.
Yeah.
So there was no problem putting a bridge then and going in.
Yeah.
Now I don't help. Look, I've had forestry people, oh, it's going to cost us $1 million here and there. I've just laughed at them. 2 or 3 managers or others later, they were able to do cost effective without a $1 million loss in the same thing. Sometimes it becomes a personal thing of a half ignorant person who just likes to look good with his bosses when they're running budgets.
I mean, you know, you saw what that road's going to look like. It's just not natural. Not natural to have a 250 metre gash in that hill. You know, it's ugly. Instead of following the natural contour of the ridge, you know, all the way down to Whaitaima or to the Mission Bay straight there.
And that's how it was going.
That was the line that we had headed for. You know, to line up with the top of the ridge and go all the way down. You know, get the traffic right away from the lake. Because I've seen that many trucks go in this lake.
Yes.
And we're just lucky that no rat poison or chemicals dropped into that, you know, crashed in there.
Killed a few trucks in the road.
But you know, I've seen a pack and save truck go in there, and then not one worker or insurance person came out to help clean up. You know, stacked the ice cream containers inside one another that high, all the chicken, butter, everything. You know, they didn't even come out and clean it up. Yeah, and it's like, oh, they would have got their insurance money though. Yeah.
No, no, it doesn't wash with me about money and costings and that. There's never any problem put a bridge in the first place, and they could have got through with the forest
This
thing.
is it, period. They're just trying to play a hardball. I had a meeting, I don't know if I told you or seen it since, but I have had a meeting with Transit and Opus. Their 2 bosses came up. And they said, oh, you know, Rob, what's our chances of getting this road through? I said, at the moment, not good. And he goes, oh, you know, is there anything we can do? And I said, yeah, look at other options. We're giving you other options. That's why the judge put me on that working party with you fellas.
That's right.
Because
20
you fellas,
years with the options.
Because you fellas wouldn't listen, and you thought, oh, you know, you do the right decision, and then you're upsetting everyone else. So the judge turned around and said, well, put Mr. Hallet on this working party with you fellas so you can work together. So I gave these options, and you fellas were saying, oh, it's kind of cost effective. And I said, well, I'll throw a scenario at you fellas. Let's say, for example, that my family allows you to put this road through. They got quite excited. You know, they were quite excited when I said that. And it was only a scenario, it wasn't, you know. But anyway, I said, yep. I said, okay, let's say, for example, we let you fellas put this road through. I said, we'll take the old road as part payment, part exchange. And then the Opus guy, oh no. And I said, excuse me, what? He goes, oh no, you're not going to get the other road. Oh, why is it? Because we're giving it to the council for scenic route. And I said, whoa, hang on. You're telling me you want to put this new road through because the status of this road is slowly eroding. But now you're saying that it's going to keep that road open as a scenic route for the council. And I said, no. I said, well, you've just blown that, haven't you?
Well, what's the difference in money and if they want to come through here, that just to go up there and bypass all
To
this?
deny our people frontage, Perry. That's all it is. Our people had the lakefront all the way through until this road became a state highway. Now, that was the other thing. I asked them. I said, oh, I got something to show you fellas. He goes, oh, what's that? So I pulled this map out. And in their State Highway 1 survey line on this map, it had a little comment I said, oh, what does it say there? They both looked at it. What does it say? But they wouldn't say. I said, I'll read it out to you. Not legal till 1968. That means from 1938, when my court put in this claim for this area, this boundary was all the land. That includes the land under that road. So who are you to give it away to the council when you haven't even paid any compensation for it? So who are you?
That's a good point.
We had an issue with Toki Road 30 years, and they said we won't do anything, it's private Maori road line. And then now it's all tar sealed, upgraded and that. Yeah. And it's still private Maori road line, but under the full responsibility of the council to maintain it. So that was after 30 years of getting nowhere with all these departments.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, they're still knocking on the door. They're still there. It's going to be interesting to see when they pull out of the forest. They're supposed to pull it out last year, but they asked for an extension. But with Binky Ellis being the new chairperson for the Whaitaima Forest Trust, met with him, and he's quite adamant that there is no road going to go through the Whaitaima.
Well, look, there's no space for any road.
Nothing. No, there isn't.
This is a say from what's left with that unnecessary road widening, who admitted they didn't have to do that after the fact, all through here. Yeah, there's no room for anything.
Nothing.
Initially I got involved when they were going to bulldoze out the Koroua and put a fire break in. Remember that was, we got the hand cutting and that done. But, oh dear. Yes. Now, the thing what makes these places unique isn't the heritage buildings. They came down like a pack of cards in Christchurch, didn't they? Yeah. What's unique in the world is the Maori Pa earthworks and that. Nowhere else in the world. And these are what to respect and maintain and look after and manage. What's the use of saying kaitiaki? And the next thing, you're not getting support from leaders or anyone, or let the road can't stop progress, cost too much.
Yeah. Well, this was the thing we asked when Transit Court gave us a week's notice for this meeting that they had for a new road. And it was chocker. There was the chief and all the Whaitaima Forest trustees and lawyers and Transit, all on their pedestal above everyone else. And they had this big picture on the back of how the road's going to look. Yeah, the city, they had their opening and then they said open before, open I must have stood up straight away. I said, I see this road and I see your plans of how it's going to look, but I'm actually interested in the next photo after that. He said, oh, why is that? And I said, because it'll have my Koroua's house in it. I said, now, where's my Koroua's house? And none of them would answer, right? None of them.
What about
their heads went down.
What about all the pattern of recorded sites under the Act Protection of Sites, dotted from here to lake?
This is what I'm saying, Perry. It's been under Whaitaima Forest Administration since '66 because we put in an application to create a Māori reservation to protect it. Well, all of a sudden they said, oh, we want to be part involved in this. And I said, well, it's been in your fellows' control since '66. Why didn't you do something then? Sometimes it's our own.
How are you going with that tape?
Good.
I said the answer to the question would be a long one.
You did.
Yeah, sorry for a few home truths, but that's how I feel.
No. I haven't changed anything I've been saying, but I said it's important I met you because what I've told Whaitaima and those, it's and it is happening everywhere. It's
why they just trying to erase it all? Ain't gonna happen here.
You remember the name of the old name of the road? It was taken down. Yeah. Down here.
What, the Forestry Road?
Yeah.
No.
I had it in the minutes. head at the minute, so
That might have been my Koroua name.
I got it in my head. I've got it in my head, but
I've been thinking of taking my own, make my own sign and put it up there and see what they do.
We do it.
Give yourself permission.
Yeah.
Whakamana i
Yeah.
koe I tō whakapata.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember I come out of the forest one day and Harvey was at the gate.
Harvey!
Harvey tried to driving up to the gate and he swings the gate closed. Pulled up and was like, hey Harvey, up. Said, you got your permit? Oh, come on Harvey. If you want to thing, you know where I live. He goes, oh yeah, but you need a permit. I said, well, I didn't have a permit, right? I needed to go to get something. I've got it, and just going home. Our forest is still standing. He goes, oh yeah, but you really need a permit. And I said, well, then maybe I should ask you the question. It's like, are you a landowner where you're standing? Because I know you're not. And have you got my permission to stand here? I know you're not. Eh? So we can go both ways.
he was a funny sort of ranger on permits. Remember, he gave someone a gun sometime to threaten and chase someone else off. So he'd be the one provide the ammunition, give the orders, and say, "Oh, I wasn't the one with the gun." And that was literally happening with the forest that he's trying to police. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
So would you know of anyone that might even have a photo of that sign, Perry? Or know of someone that might even know where it is?
I don't know whether even the old forest records, they had the old forest map had the name within the sign change. I'd be lucky to catch your name.
Because if I can find it, I'm going to put it erected right by my gateway there.
Yes. If the old forestry map had the old name, because the forest owned lease it.
No, I'm not talking about the roadway. I'm talking about that old that sign that used to tell the history of all here.
Oh, I've got a photo.
Have you?
Yeah. A
Cool.
black and white photo.
Oh!
That's the one that just past.
You could pull over the car.
Yeah, that's right.
And for the cliffs,
Yeah.
had a clear view, and then they started growing
Planting
trees.
trees, yeah.
So shifted the sign to the side of the road. I've got old photos somewhere,
Oh, awesome.
black and white.
Very good.
It's in the-
But I really would want the sign though, if you know where that is.
I don't know where the
Oh,
sign
there
is.
you go.
No,
I might have to get one made.
but I've got a photo of the sign. I'm sure.
If you can, Perry, just this please. I would love to have a copy of that, and I'll probably get one made and I'll put it directly down there so no one forgets about the history of what happened.
Well, if it was here, it's still relevant.
Yeah, it's still relevant.
Exactly
Yeah.
relevant where it
Yeah.
faced over here.
You take all
Yes.
the years. Yeah.
Yes. No,
Oh,
that's many years ago.
I know. I know. That's why I said, well, that sign was up there. There's no talk about a new road, but as soon as that sign disappeared, see, well, all the history's been, no one knows because there's no signs to tell you the
I
history.
remember, wasn't John Asher? It was
John,
no, Stephen Asher.
yeah.
And we had to talk about the sign, and then he referred to it being traditional. We said, "What do you mean traditional?" We started getting funny about the wording of the sign, and next thing, the sign's gone. But then it was the same with that TeWhare
Yeah.
sign. I think it was called Sir Happy TeWhare Road.
Oh, yeah. That was, there you are, right. Yeah, it was the happy.
Now, if the forestry have an old map with that in between the change of the road, that would be a record to have. But no, my small forestry maps are more Tokoroa everywhere, Taupo forest. I'll try and look up my old records for
Yeah,
that
if you,
photo.
and yeah, you got the right number. It's just you're lucky I was home because we had no power yesterday because the tree fell off, hit the power line, so we had no power for a day and a bit. It was like, well,
Was
like,
that
yeah, there were trucks and-
was that one of the gum trees?
yeah, one of the branches came off and took out the lines. So we had no power for a day and a half. And then came on about an hour ago.
I know I was on the wrong side of the road when they had on this side removing the trees, and they had wires and strops and everything. The last tree, and it went straight right angle across the road.
Yeah.
You know, for all their careful thing.
Yeah.
I took photos of that, but I was stuck on this side of the road till they cleared it. So I think I might have wandered up here for another.
Well,
cup of
you
tea.
might have been
So-
you might have seen my
so
father
I
on the
was
side of
stuck-
the road. Oh, hi.
Well, I was stuck one side of the road or the other side. Interesting place for trees falling.
Yeah, because those two,
And a big branch set them with the Koroua being
Yeah.
having a bit of a tap.
yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, you know, there's still a little bit of danger because those microcarpers are getting quite big up there, and the peculiar angles that they're starting to head at. You know, you always sort of look at the tree at what angle and where it's sort of heading, and you think, nah, you might as well try and fix it now before it ends up doing the damage.
It's over 100 years old now.
Yeah.
You're looking as if you can see it, both of you.
Yeah.
Hey, you're looking as if it's right there. Hey, isn't that cool? Cool.
Well, didn't your dad, was it your dad or was it his father planted all the gums along here?
Yeah, he used it as boundary markers. Yeah.
So your dad was Uncle Hai?
Yep.
Was Hai?
Yeah. I was adopted by Hai and Daf.
Yep.
My real parents were Mana and Lena, which was Hai's brother.
Hai's
Mana.
brother.
Mana.
Do you know Kui Poi Haere?
Well, hey,
I've got a photo of her.
said, well, we do the map again. So they gave us a year ago to have a new map done. But the case manager was sacked, and we now have one in Wellington. So he came up and said, well, yeah, we'll get you to do the new survey. And I said, right, now, I didn't know this beforehand, but now, now that I know. But the courts have two interpretations of an edge of a cliff. Now, I didn't know this. You see, I didn't know that there was two interpretations. But no, not the courts. No, you step off before, then you hit the rolling hill, then you roll down, and where you stop is the edge. Yeah, I didn't know that. I said, well, that's quite interesting because I didn't know that it existed. So anyway, we had this debate with the court registrar and said, well, since you fellas are paying for this again, I said, I need to hear from you to confirm if we're going to the bottom of this cliff or we're going to the top. We've already gone to the bottom and he just balls it up. So we might as well go to the top. Since you fellas are paying for it, what is it? He goes, oh, to the top. So I had to go with the surveyors to be their bulldozer. It wasn't pleasant, but oh well, like you said, hands and knees and pushing through the fern and all sorts. They just so that they could carry their poles and get GPS readings and everything. So yeah, so now we've gone to the top of the cliffs, and there's a big difference, Terry. You know, where the cliff edge falls, and then what's so significant about the cliffs? I said, well, that's Tapu Nui is here.
Oh, that's where I'll get that photo.
Yeah. I said, but this is where a big battle happened here. That's all class of white stuff we were there. He goes, well, don't you think that was why he wanted to go to the edge of the top of the cliffs? I said, of course, to safeguard it all. I said, so if that's the case, then we're already heading in the right direction. So we've done the survey, we're just waiting for it now to go clear through limbs. But we see that at the limbs office, it hasn't even cleared limbs, but Transit's already got it earmarked.
That's rodent. That's why I'm quite keen on getting that registered, and that will be the obstacle for the aspiration.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we can get that up and going, but we need to just, we've been waiting for this new survey to clear limbs, but they've already told us that Transit's already earmarked it. It's like, hey,
it doesn't make the Urupā, the Waihi Tapu or anything disappear.
No, it actually comes inside our Koraua's boundary, But everything that we've gotten back with this new survey from the to the top of the cliffs is all going to go wahitapu, even that side.
Because even at the side waterfall, you've got a burial shuttered boarded.
Yeah.
Their burial there.
Yeah, well, we've gone to the top of the waterfall, to the edge, but they haven't gone. We haven't gone that far back. But what we have done is been able to secure everything that's in this vicinity below the cliff top, all the way to the Whaitaima stream on the other side there. So everything all that extra area, it's not usable, and it's not going to be usable, but it is going into the Wahitapu reservation. Well, that's what it's going to happen.
Oh yes.
Because you can't build on that side. That side's too steep, and anyway, there's a lot of sites up in there in the hill. So nah, they'll just put it all in under the reservation. But we've been waiting for the map to clear limbs. This has been probably nearly a year now since we've had it. So it's all been given the nod, but just haven't gone through limbs set up.
So it's not a lack of knowledge, information or disconnect from the land. It's every effort of the owners and what they try to do, and all the obstacles and legal things, and then in fact they get ahead and they're back to where they start, new directives and things.
Has it been registered as a reserve?
This is what
up by the
they've been
karaka
trying
tree?
to fight for years.
No, not yet.
This is what Robert's just saying, and then they want legal definitions of what's top, what's bottom, and that for the surveys. We'll go back to the surveyors and get it all done again. And it's, it's
time consuming, it's a headache. Have the survey done. I wish when they turned around and asked for minimum impact area, I wish I said no. Now I would have destroyed this forest, had trust board, everything. All the owners would have been poor because they would have put any of the dividends.
Oh, mind you, most the shareholders' dividends went as an honorarium to the chief, tending just for one day a year and a feed.
Yeah.
And how much did he get to just for that?
It's only 10 grand just to show up for a bloody for one meeting. It's like what?
For kakai.
Just because you're the paramount. I'll make myself paramount times 2. It'll be 20,000.
Anyway, talking of that and food. Oh look, thank you for your time.
Oh no, it's good to see you, Perry. You're still looking.